And here we are. We are back with segment 2 of the Remax Magnolia Real Estate Show with myself, Curtis Pope, and Paul's taking the reins this week from Remax Magnolia. And of course, we have our guest here as well. And I assume you want to continue talking.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, I guess the next question I'd have is the upcoming zoning changes in a couple days here. Is there a lot of inquiries you have about that and a lot of interest? People just waiting, or?
Yeah, good question. We've had a good long laundry list of people that we've been having discussions with about the upcoming zoning changes regarding up to 4 residences all on the same property or inside the same home. ADUs are coming up big as well, just accessory dwelling units for backyard garden cottages, granny suites, coach homes, whatever you want to call them. To be totally honest, I've sort of folded my hands and I'm just waiting for what the municipality is doing. There was a point in time where I was trying to inquire what's going on and figure it out. I've had meetings with different municipalities about what's going on, but at the same time, we just have to let them unfold what's going to happen. Places like City of Delta are on it. They know what's going on. City of Vancouver figured it out a long time ago already. They have a good plan. I do know, I'm a big fan of the City of Abbotsford. I live here. We're here right now, and they're doing a good job of what they can do. So I can speak highly of them, and I think we'll see some interesting things. I was listening to a podcast recently, and you talk about these zoning changes, and one of the things that people panic about is, this is like a bit of NIMBYism, not in my backyard kind of thing, right? Right. They panic. But one thing that came up as I was listening to this, it was a real estate podcast actually, and they made the point to say not everybody's going to do this. So you're worried about parking or infrastructure or whatever it's going to be. Not everybody's going to do this. So I know that NIMBYism can happen a lot, even locally in our own city here, and that's just fine. Everybody's allowed to have their opinion, but not everybody's going to be putting a secondary residence or third residence into their backyard or whatever.
That's going to happen slowly over time.
It'll happen slowly over time as the municipality allows and permits get processed and things like that.
So is that concern of the infrastructure being overburdened, that happens slowly over time? So is that people are kind of jumping the gun a little bit, saying that infrastructure is going to be burdened right off the bat?
Well, I think there's a bit of an assumption there, right? Like like city planners, engineers, officials, like they're the people that have to dictate all of that right now. They're also not going to let something happen if it's not going to work. Like if we're going to see sanitary backups and water shortages and those kind of things. I mean, our city here in particular isn't just going to let that happen just because, I guess, right? So they're well advanced in my opinion. I don't have a specific answer to that, but yeah, it's not up to me exactly, but.
I know, like in Mission, for example, I'm not sure if it's changed, but for a longest time there was only certain neighborhoods where you could have a legal suite. I'm not sure if it's still like that or not, but I mean, is Mission, like say, for example, going to be a tough one for people to be able to do this in, or do we know?
Yeah, good question. Mission's a fantastic example. I think they're really trying to improve their system. They're one of the fastest growing communities, I believe, in BC. And yeah, you're right. If you didn't have that certain zoning, you couldn't put a suite into your home. I can't speak to their infrastructure. I do know that they're trying to, they're doing their best to improve all that. I do know that the mayor, I have a relationship with him. He's a good guy, and the city council are very progressive in trying to go. Basically, their motto is "We're open for business," right? So they're really trying to push to bring people to there and increase housing, not just affordability, but opportunities for home ownership as well as accessible or just access to housing there. So
yeah, I've heard the same thing too. Absolutely, cool. And then I guess from the building science side of things too, can you talk a bit about like how you mentioned that you're trying to make your homes energy efficient? Are you achieving that step 4 code, or can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah. So again, back to the step code. So that's just federal and provincial governments pushing us to build better, basically. So just again, more airtight homes without sitting here for 60 or 90 minutes with talking about what this all means. Basically, it just comes down to air change per hour. ACH is the acronym, and so the lower air change per hour inside your home, the more efficient it is. Now, we are looking at the home as a system now instead of just our building code up to 2020 basically has been very prescriptive. It tells you exactly what type of 2x6 stud to put in the wall, what type of insulation, how much you need, how deep your footings need to be, so on and so forth. Now it basically says this is your parameters, here's what you need to meet. You need to figure it out as builders and energy modelers and energy advisors to basically meet those codes, seismic codes as well. But yeah, what it comes down to, in my opinion, is that it's pushing us to build better homes. So do everything just a little bit better. I'm not even talking, you don't have to go and spend $30,000 more on your window package, but where we're going, in my opinion, is just do a little bit better at your craft, whether you're forming a foundation, framing a home, installing windows, installing an exterior or insulation inside a home. Just take a little bit extra time, not a lot, but just do a better job, and your home will perform much better.
Cool. I'm curious about your roof assemblies. Do you do non-vented roof assemblies typically on your modular, or? We
do some of both. So if we're spray foaming, we do have the probably half our homes that we spray foam. So then we're totally we don't have a vented roof assembly. That's your easiest path to air tightness. Spray foam insulation's amazing. It's not overall the best for the environment, but I can't really totally speak to that, but there's just a lot of chemicals involved to get to that point. But do your own research for anybody that's listening. But we do a lot of non-vented roof assemblies. So
when it comes to custom homes, I'm always fascinated by some of the cool things you've probably been able to do. What's one of the coolest things you've been able to put together for a client?
Good question.
Oh, that's a good question.
There's got to be a favorite thing that you've gone, this is the coolest thing I've done, or one of the coolest things.
Some of them are just the settings that they're in, like whether it's the privacy or you get to a site and you're like, oh, I want to be here, right? Mm-hmm. There's been lots of cool features. We built a lot of homes over the years. And it's for me, it's not just like one thing. It's the fit and finish. I bookend projects. Like I'm there at the beginning, meeting the clients, getting everything going, and then we have project managers, interior designers that take over, and then I usually try to hit the end of it where we do our final walkthroughs and those kind of things. And when I walk in and our whole team has done a good job and everything looks great and all the trades that were in and out look good, for me that's the consistency of that is like the coolest feature of it all. Kind of
right.
Not a specific feature, but and then again, like sometimes you get these settings that are just like, oh man, I don't even want to leave. So,
well, thankfully my wife would be involved, but if I had to make a custom home, there'd very well be a fire pole, there'd be, maybe a slide, there'd be lots of weird stuff that my wife would have to say, no, that's not going in our house.
Yeah, well, we can make those happen.
I'm sure you can.
Yeah, so we can kind of hide them somewhere. We've done some secret rooms and stuff like that. Or
a secret room would be good too. Somewhere I could hide from the kids. I like that.
Guitar room, cigar room, whatever.
Yeah, I like the way you're thinking. Yeah. Okay, well, that's good. Because when you have money and sometimes you're like, well, what can I do? And it's like Chad Kruger, right? He goes, can you put an ice rink in my house? We got the money, we can do it, right? Like when money's no object, you can do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we just did a pretty cool in a project that was a pneumatic elevator. and it's a showpiece for sure. It's definitely not your elevator that needs to go behind a door, but it's a pretty wicked.
Can you see through it? What's it?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can see yourself go all the way down. Yeah, like the Wonkavator kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that a lot. Well, if people want more information about Statton Rock, because we are getting close to the end of our time here, where can they go?
Yeah, StattonRock.com. So socials are at Statton Rock. At Statton Rock Simply Living is the manufactured homes company. Check them out for anything tiny, modular, and manufactured. And www.stattonrock.com. That's STATTON rock.com. And check us out. Everything's on our website. We have an awesome website. So scroll through there and hit the get in touch button and send us a message. We'll get back to you.
All right. And Paul, if people want to see the listings that you have and things like that, I guess they can just go to your website, right?
Yeah, Remax Magnolia Realty.com.
And join us again next week when we will talk real estate in order to unlock your real estate potential on a show where real estate is maximized. Thanks for listening.